What is up, YouTube? It is Doc here, Docky Style Gaming, and I am back at it again with another Godfall video for you all today, where this one is probably the most important update that we've gotten from the team at Counterplay and Gearbox, because we got just about all the quality of life improvements that players have been asking for, a bunch of fixes on top of that, and some slight updates and tweaks to different mechanics in the game as well, and even some buffs and things. But on top of all of that, and this is a massive update, we also got our first look at the roadmap for Godfall. So starting today with the update 2.3.15, we got the quality of life improvements and player feedback, large number of bugs resolved, optimization and stability improvements from the update that honestly should have just dropped or be dropping right about now. And then Q1 2021, we have our first free update, which is called the Primal content update. And then Q2 2021, we have our first paid expansion, which is included with all the Ascended and Deluxe editions of the game. Now we will hop right into that in a bit, because the CEO of Counterplay Games himself actually briefly mentioned it in his article, or in his thank you to the fans. So let's actually hop right into this. So it starts by saying, Godfall, a peek into the future, having just crossed 1 month since the launch of Godfall. On behalf of Counterplay Games, we extend a heartfelt thank you to those who have played, enjoyed, and supported Godfall. Seeing Godfall in your hands this year is a dream come true, especially in light of the challenging 2020 for us. In the last few weeks, we've pushed 5 updates, which is impressive, with the immediate goal that you have a smooth and enjoyable experience focusing on stability and improvement. Though this goal remains true moving forward, our team's attention will now focus on delivering fresh content for you to experience. In very early 2021, we plan to launch a free content update called the Primal content update, with more challenging content to test your mettle. Additionally, there will be ways for you to progress and improve your character even after reaching max level, which is something I've teased in my community post on YouTube, and I think I might have a video teasing some more of this. But moving on to the next part, it says more exact details will come at a later date, and we look forward to sharing the future set as we progress through development. From the beginning, we remain true to our word that Godfall is not a live service title with in-game microtransactions or seasonal passes. For this current update, we've delivered more than a dozen quality of life improvements, that's an understatement, including mass salvage bug fixes, and we listened to your request to fine-tune the player input buffering, which I am so happy about this. And they have a whole nother section towards the end of this where they'll break more of it down, but hopefully this means that some of the clunkiness with the combat will be taken out of the game and it will be a lot more smoother. So I actually can't wait to actually mess around with it when I play Godfall again. It says, as we sprint into 2021, we will continue to strive for excellence so you can have a truly enjoyable experience. At the same time, the team will be hard at work delivering the next content update and expansion as planned, along with even more quality of life improvements. We appreciate and thank you for your invaluable feedback and support. We are excited for the future of Godfall, and we hope that you'll join us in the journey together. Sincerely, Keith Lee, CEO of Counterplay Games. So that's pretty much what we can expect from Godfall moving forward for Q1 and Q2, and apparently very early Q1 we'll be getting a free update for everybody. So I can't wait to see what all this will entail. But again, I have a separate video. I'm going to touch a bit on what I think this might all include, or some of the things it might include. But let's get into the main meat of this video for the most part, which is the update. The quality of life fixes, the improvements, like I said, the whole input buffer. There's so much, and I'm so happy. But when he said over a dozen, yeah, that's an understatement. This is a lot. And for the most part, I'm only going to touch on the most important. And then, like I said, there was a whole nother text about input buffering as well. But Again, for the most important stuff, I'm going to just touch on those aspects, and then if you want to check out the entire article, like I always do, I leave the link to it in the video description, so you can actually read through every single fix, because there are a lot, and even though I won't be mentioning every single one of them, they are very good fixes for some of these things that I probably don't even touch on. But first and foremost, something a lot of people have been asking for is the mass salvage is now in the game. So we can now mass salvage everything. You can tag gear with a salvage or favored mark. You can't salvage gear that is favorited or locked. So that's still, I mean, that's to be expected. And then it says gear with salvage tags can be disassembled when you choose the salvaged all. So again, that's something that a lot of people have been asking for, and I'm glad it's here. Clearly, they probably planned this as well, because like I always say, whenever you see any of the swords, the crossing swords, those are player requested feedback. So surprisingly, we don't see that there, even though no players had been asking for that. So I guess they were planning on this all along, and I'm just glad it's here. Next thing that they solved that clearly is a player feedback is they solved an issue where amulets, rings, charms, and augments secondary traits were not increasing when upgrading to rank 3. Now, this is something that a lot of people in my Discord have told me about, a lot of people in the Reddit for Godfall have talked about, and I'm glad it's fixed. I've personally been holding off leveling up some of my stuff as well, because even though I want my characters to be at max, or their stats to be max, I don't want to waste some of those resources because they are hard to grind for, and they take a while to grind for. I wouldn't say hard, they're just time consuming. So I didn't want to waste any resources that I didn't need to until this was fixed, and luckily it's fixed. Next, they said they solved various issues that was causing, or that could cause hitches and stuttering, which is something, again, I know a lot of people had issues with, which was the stuttering. So I'm glad they fixed this as well. Another thing that they included, it says a reminder name text on the Towers of Trials icon, which I guess is something players had asked for. It says included a field of view slider, again, something a lot of players were asking for. I'm very happy that this is here. Again, even though the field of view doesn't bother me too much, I do want to pull it back just a bit, so I'm curious to see how far forward and back they'll actually let us mess with the field of view. It says solved an issue where the input buffering, when buttons are held. And an example is weapon technique and blocking would not register properly, and this is 100% true. I know some of y'all have probably seen my streams where I'm like showing on camera that I'm pressing my weapon technique, but it wasn't registering. So I'm glad they fixed this, but this also technically ties into the input buffering as well, which again, they talk about it right here. It says increase the window of opportunity to buffer the use of life stones during combat animations, and then updated the way the game handles input buffering. It says read more, which again, I will touch on that at the very end, but I am very glad that that is fixed. It says improve frame rate issues when using Archon Fury. Honestly, a lot of frame rate issues are in this, and I'm glad, because again, I know some of the frame drops, frame issues, some of the stuttering that a lot of people were having, a lot of that has been fixed, at least according to these notes. Again, I haven't actually got in the game to mess around with it to verify it, but according to these notes, they have been fixed and addressed, and I am personally happy about that. So some more things that players requested that were improved. It says improved weapon technique HUD to include a visual flourish when your bar is full, increased tracking and rotation on all weapons. And clearly this is shout out to all the greatsword users who were having a hard time landing hits when they were aimed. So this is clearly something that players or greatsword players wanted, and now it's available for all weapons. So let's scroll through some of these other things, because some of these are various fixes, improvements to stats for light attacks, timing attacks, things like that, techniques. Let's see, solved issues where, yeah, leveling up, weapon techniques, shield, reset, cooldown. So that's what a lot of these are. Then we also got some improvements. A lot of stuff that I saw was for the pole arms. A lot of pole arm buffs, because just some of their stuff wasn't registering properly as well. This was something else I know a lot of people were wanting, or a lot of people were having issues with, and I'm glad that that has been somewhat solved. Again, I haven't tried it out, so I can't verify it, but they clearly know about it, and it seems like they tried to fix it in this update. But it says solved various multiplayer crash issues due to desyncs. So hopefully, because I know there's a lot of people in my Discord that still play or that LFG, and even though I haven't commented on some of them, I have saw some pretty heated interactions when they are kicked or desynced because of certain multiplayer issues in Towers of Trials. So I'm glad this is fixed, and hopefully it truly is fixed. So yeah, more of this was, like I said, most of it is a lot of multiplayer stuff that just slight bugs, but like I said, this for sure was the most important, was the multiplayer crashes. Also, this was something nice too for the most part. It says solved an issue in multiplayer where loot was capped at tier 40 in certain game modes instead of scaling to the missions tier. So that's always good to get gear at your level. So that was fixed as well. More of this is a lot of animation fixes, animation. This was something that players had asked for. It says remove the 250 millisecond animation delay on equipment hover. It says traits will now display immediately when the card stat is pulled up. Some more player fixes, which this is actually, I'm very happy about this one. And I've talked about this before. It says improved visual guidance from spirit vision on free roam activities. So now it says the red bonus ejective beams have increased in size, but now there's also a new particle effect. A new particle effect was included to guide players to the nearest beam. So I am very happy to see that as well. It says they added a bunch of confirmation screens in the game. This one for sure, players had asked for a confirmation screen when attempting to reset your skill tree. So that's there as well. And then most of the, I'd say probably important, like really important ones, because most of this is just more free roam stuff. Some fixes to some of the weapons as well. But like I said, if you want to read through all of this, by all means, I'll let y'all. Like I said, I read through every single one of them, so I tried to just get the most important stuff out of it. But really, some of these, the updates are the biggest things. So I want to touch on these first, but it says updated the equipment screen to have a gear comparison on by default. It does say you can still toggle this option to view the weapon model, but now when you actually go over your equipment, it'll actually compare it, which is nice. I'm glad that they have that. It says updated the holo map to include the current selected difficulty, which thank you, because when I select a difficulty, you don't really get that confirmation. So you never really know sometimes. It's like, yeah, you could click it, but it's like, is it on it? So I'm glad that we're going to be able to see that in the holo map. It says updated macros encounter, so we can no longer preemptively channel corruption and stun players before they engage with him after they die, which, damn, that sucks. Updated a previously confusing rampage UI gauge, which will now appear on the player's weapon UI, which I guess it was confusing to an extent because they never explained it, but once you started playing the game, you definitely understood what that was. But the rampage gauge, when it would kind of expand from the bottom of the screen, but I am glad that they're streamlining it a bit and putting it to a specific side with the rest of your weapons as well. Then it says they updated the sound effects tied to spinning, points in the skill grid. Nothing too crazy. Updated the skill grid descriptions to match the player's current/custom keybinds instead of the default keys. And then it says updated the UI to display what materials were obtained from gear salvage. Now also something else I wanted to touch on that I know I glossed over again. I read through all of these already, but one of the things that they did improve as well that I saw was when it came to picking up loot. How whenever you'd pick up I think it was Electrum is what it's called, it would bundle all of it together and you'd see the stat on the side. But now they with all the resources, it'll bundle it all together instead of giving you multiple of that item per one you pick up. It'll just bundle all of it together so you don't have constant animations popping up on the side for all the smaller items that you pick up. So that was a fix as well. Now for PlayStation 5, some of the fixes, it says solved an issue in multiplayer where accepting an invite on the title screen did not automatically transition a player into the game. Solved an issue where all the audio would be lost when resuming a game from rest mode. And if you have a PS5, why are you putting your thing in rest mode? I've been hearing that's where all the issues have been coming with from the PS5. I've had a PS4 for years and I've never put that in rest mode, but I just feel like it wastes energy. Anyways, solved an issue when starting the game without internet connection and then reconnecting would cause the player to load with a different character if they own multiple. So that seems like a very minor bug that some people experienced, probably very early on. And then for PC, it says include a salvage shortcut for the keyboard, which is bound to the spacebar, which is nice. It included a sprint toggle option, which again, very nice for mouse and keyboard. Solved an issue where highlighting, actually I'll go touch back on sprint toggle a little bit too, because there was something I didn't touch on, but they did improve sprinting. It says solved an issue where highlighting different augments with the controller and mouse would render 2 stack cards at the same time. Solved an issue where pressing the escape key would close all menus instead of backing out to the current sub menu. Solved an issue where the stack cards would not update when navigating with the arrow. Okay. Solved an issue, I don't really play PC, but for you PC players. Solved an issue where the windowed full screen setting was showing the wrong resolution. Solved various issues where the incorrect mouse buttons are displayed in the menu. And then something that players had asked for, updated the mouse buttons icons to display better. Wait, what? Oh yeah, to display better the target, to better display the target button clicked. My God, can I not speak? That's fixed. So but yeah, let's go back to, let me see if I can find it, because I know there's a lot. Again, there was a lot, but one of the things that they did say that they improved was the sprint animation. It says increase the turn radius allowed during super sprint before braking. So it says enjoy speed running through the realms. Then they also increased pickup radius responsiveness to avoid backtracking when sprinting, which is also nice as well. But now, for me, let's get into probably the most important aspect of the game, which is, or this update for me, is the input buffering, which again, by a lot, based on a lot of player feedback, we revisited the input buffering. And hopefully this will make essentially the combat a little more smoother, since we didn't allow you to immediately cancel attacks or branch out into dodge. So essentially, hopefully this will smooth everything out. And I just thought it was funny he listed it, because it's pretty much everything. But long story short, it says we've identified a number of actions that were not supporting input buffering properly, and this is the current list of actions now supporting input buffering, and that's everything for the most part. So they fixed so light attacks for weapons, heavy attacks, weapon techniques for all weapons, block parries, weapon swap, polarity attacks, life stones, dodge, quick turns, banners, siphon, sundering slams, shield, uppercut, timing attack, shield counter strikes, shield throw, shield bash, spinning blast, shield prime, reload, charge, shield throw, arcing shield throw, explosive wake, spectral blow, petrifying slam, and primed petrifying slam. So just about all the main attacks in the game should hopefully feel a bit smoother. And again, I cannot wait to actually test this out, because I hope it does, especially with some of the input with the weapon timing, because again, that was bugging the hell out of me. I thought it was just me, but apparently it was the game, or I thought it might have just been my controller with the adaptive triggers as well. But luckily that's all being fixed, and I cannot wait to test this out. So that's pretty much all we got from this update. Again, I say all, we actually got quite a bit. Like I said, it is a lot. There's some buffs for pole arms I saw as well. A lot of buffs for pole arms, because some of the things just weren't acting properly. So there's that. Weapon and light attacks, timing attacks, things like that were getting buffed because they weren't scaling properly. But for the most part, the most important stuff you pretty much got out of the way. But again, if you want to read the entire patch notes, I will be leaving a link to it in the video description. So that's all I really got for this video. I'm gonna wrap it up. if you are going to be hopping on once this update is live, which again, it probably should be live, but if you're going to be hopping on, let me know. And if you're not in the Discord, definitely be sure to join the Discord, because I'm going to be hopping on right after I upload this video. And if y'all want to run any Towers of Trials, Ascended Towers of Trials, definitely feel free to message me in the Discord, and we could get some parties going, because I cannot wait to see how this all goes, and hopefully the multiplayer is working a lot smoother as well. So again, that's really all I got for this video. Be sure to leave a like if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, still leave a like. Links to all my social media accounts are in the video description, along with the link to the Discord as well. I am out of here. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the subs. Peace.